In the years since I returned to YouTube, I've expected a lot of things. More subscribers, bigger viewership, bigger vlogs and quality content. But one thing I did not expect was that I was going to be making this. And the men, they need to work on their defense a little bit.
Agreed, agreed. Men, get better. You hear me?
Well, Sean, did they get better?
Nope.
They did not. The Siena College Saints close out their basketball season with only 4 wins and 28 losses. A program record, if I am correct. Any comment on that?
I mean, we knew that this season was probably going to be a little bit of a downfall from last season, but I don't think anybody in the Capital Region expected quite a downfall like this. The Saints dealt with many different issues this season, and it's hard to go over all of them, but we're going to try and do that right now.
Let's start with the fact that there were only 4 wins. There was the first win, which was a home opener against Holy Cross. That was to start the season, so they had a lot of hope. Then afterwards, they didn't win again until December 1st when they beat Ryder by 2 points. And afterward, they played Niagara in a close contest, and they also won over Manhattan. But other than that, the Saints just could not win. They had a lot of tight losses. They had a lot of blowout losses. And it's interesting I mentioned Ryder because the second game, Ryder absolutely exploded and beat them by almost like 50 points.
When I look at this team this season, they had several games that were really close, as you mentioned. But there was some games that they started out great, such as the game against Marist where they had a 20-4 run in that game and then went on to lose by 2. They had a lot of games that were close, but they also had the blowout Albany Cup, which Albany just completely shut them down in the second half. With the amount of injuries that plagued this team, Michael Ealy had several throughout the season. Sean Dewar-Gordon, who came back later in the season, had a fantastic run, just putting up 20 points per game in each of his first 4 games.
Yeah, let's talk about the injuries. So the injuries were not fun for the Saints. They had Michael Ealy, as you mentioned, Sean Dewar-Gordon, as you mentioned. They also had, I think, a total of 5 players on the bench afterwards because they just could not find a way to get back into the game. Either that or they just didn't want to play. I'm not entirely sure what was confirmed, but you're seeing the video right there that there's people practicing in sweatshirts and sweatpants that became a common sight throughout the rest of the season. And Michael Ealy, he rolled his ankle at the beginning of the season, and that was not fun for Michael Ealy because he was the Rookie of the Year this past season. And he also had an NIL deal. He had an eponymous sandwich at the Works Cafe, which is very delicious. I highly recommend it. This past season, he just could not match his record from the past season at all. It was unfortunate. He had a lot of hope.
Yeah, looking at some of the players this season, Gio Emajuru had a really good season as a transfer coming over to Siena in his first season. He is now one of many players that are going to be in the transfer portal for this upcoming season. And if you look at the players in the portal, you have a lot of guys who were starters, regulars in the lineup throughout the season. You have guys like Ealy, Zach Tekin, Mason Courtney, Emajuru, who was recently just transferred, guys who didn't play this season or didn't get a chance to, such as Max Frazier. So as we go to what the season concluded with, unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to Carmen Massarello and hello to a new coach in Jerry McNamara.
Yeah, Jerry McNamara, the 40-year-old coach from Syracuse, came into play following a massive search for a coach. They thought about Will Brown. They thought about Matt Brady, who was an assistant coach at DePaul. But Jerry McNamara ultimately was the top pick for the new coach. And wow, already he's been making an impact with his hires. He's got Peter Carey from Syracuse. He's also got other players like Miles Wilmoth. He's coming from Hofstra. And we recently just got Marcus Jackson from UAlbany, who is Andre's brother.
Yeah, and that should be a fantastic move. Marcus Jackson had a very, very good season at UAlbany. He's well known for his defensive prowess and a very nice force in that starting lineup potentially for Jerry McNamara this upcoming season. And, you know, we even got some guys who are going to potentially be joining him from Syracuse in this coaching staff. So it is a very interesting time for Siena. They're looking to rebound from one of their worst seasons in program history, so this should be a great hire for them this upcoming season.
And just to think back on this season overall, Sean, what do you think didn't really work out for the Saints in terms of the game?
Well, unfortunately, there were a lot of factors that went into that, especially having to do with several injuries that were on the team this season. We already talked about a lot of that this season, not being able to protect their leads, having a few defensive breakdowns. It was a lot of factors that went into it. There was some bad coaching decisions. There was just not a lot of confidence in a lot of these games this season, and that resulted in one of the worst seasons in history for this program. But if we're looking for positive revelations for the future, I think that next season we're going to be looking at some better coaching, better players, and we're hopefully going to see a turnaround for this program that we haven't seen in a few years from now.
Yeah, the Saints have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2010, so I think this is long overdue, and who knows? GMAC was part of a national tournament team. We'll have more on that in a few minutes. So I think he will definitely be the addition that the Saints need. They just got to continue recruiting, and that's about it. We'll have more coming up right after this commentary.
You see, when it comes to driving, there are a lot of bumps in the road. This bump just happened to have caused a flat tire. The question is, do you change the tire, or do you just keep driving? Siena College has thankfully chosen to change the tire. And not just that, but they're getting the new kind of tire. Otherwise, we would just be tired of the same old formula. In my personal opinion, I think the team just did not gel together. They just could not find a cohesive rhythm among the staff and the players. And that's a problem because there is no I in team. There is an ME, but whatever. You know the Taylor Swift song. My hope is that this team can work together and the coaches can work together to provide a team that can hopefully go to the dance, win championships, and bring back some fan bases to this once proud program. This is MLG Dude. Thanks for watching.
Siena basketball is bouncing back. New coach, new look, new home. Be there when it happens again.
All right, so I am joined by Aiden Burns, who is a dedicated Siena fan, much like myself.
Yep.
Aiden and I sat in the student section together through every game, even when the student section was empty. How was that?
I mean, I want more fans, obviously. Next year, hopefully, we'll get more fans. But it was a lot of fun to be there. I mean, you really can't beat it. It's $50 for pretty much like 12 to 14 games. And you get free transportation to it, and it's a lot of fun just to be there. It's honestly, I don't know what else I would be doing those Friday nights, so I really enjoy it.
How has it been working the media broadcast? Obviously, you don't work at MVP.
Not an MVP, but it's been a lot of fun to work the media broadcast. I really think the women's basketball season was awesome to work. One of my favorite sports, definitely, to work. Now we're doing lacrosse and baseball and softball, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it so much. Cool thing about it is it's only my freshman year, so I still have 3 more years, and I'm hoping to definitely stay on the team and get all those 4 years in and just continue it because it's awesome. It's really good for my major, and I really enjoy it.
What do you think went wrong with Siena basketball this year?
I think they're gonna have to work on it. I mean, I honestly think the coaching was definitely tough. I feel like maybe it wasn't the best group of guys we got, but again, looking at the positive right now, we have a new coach that's from Syracuse on the coaching staff, and he's going to be really good. And we've been getting a lot of new signs from high school players. We got some transfers. We even got a transfer from UAlbany, if I'm correct, to Siena.
Marcus Jackson.
Yep. So I think it's going to be a better year next year. It's looking well, and I think hopefully that will help, and then hopefully we can get more students in next year, and we can just really rock the dog pound.
Final question. Why do you think the students left all the games and we just still went?
I think it was just tough because, again, there was a lot of other stuff going on campus, and I still think the Friday nights we had a good attendance, but again, with Sunday day games and like Thursday night games, it's very tough for fans to make it there just because obviously there's still a lot of schoolwork and a lot of studying going on. But I think it was just they're not doing well. The women's basketball team still had really good attendance, so I feel like really to have a lot of people go to games, you need to have a good record and stuff. But again, I think, as I said, I think next year is going to be much better.
Here with Siena play-by-play announcer Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, what was it like for you to announce these games this past season?
It's a blast. It's a privilege to call Siena basketball games. You know, there are few programs at Siena's level, at the mid-major level, that has the resources, the arena like MVP, the fan base like Siena has. So getting to call a Siena game down at the arena is really a special treat, and I'm thrilled every year to get to have that opportunity.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of excitement going around Siena's campus right now with the new head coach arrival, Jerry McNamara.
Yeah.
Is going to be taking over the men's program this year. What are your ties to him, being that he was coming from Syracuse as an assistant coach for so many years?
Yeah, so we missed each other at Syracuse barely by a year. So I graduated from Syracuse in 2002 and had the opportunity to call men's basketball games at Syracuse when I was a student. So I graduated in 2002, and then Jerry was famously a freshman in 2003, and that was the year that Syracuse went on to win the national championship. Of course, Carmelo Anthony was also a freshman on that team. In my senior year, I knew that I was going to call Syracuse in the NCAA tournament, right? Yeah. And so throughout my career as a college broadcaster, I was looking forward to that opportunity to call Syracuse games in the NCAA tournament. My senior year, they don't make it to the tournament. They got off to a great start that year and then tanked the second half of the season in the Big East, and then making it to the NIT, which was fun. I got to call games in Madison Square Garden. They ended up finishing fourth, losing to South Carolina in the semifinals of the NIT. But then the following year, of course, they get Jerry, they get Carmelo, they go all the way and win the national championship, but I missed it by a year.
Man, that must be real tough having to miss that.
It was a little disheartening for a while, but I went as a fan, so maybe I had more fun in New Orleans celebrating the national championship as a fan than I would have as a broadcaster anyway.
Absolutely. So with Siena's new coach also comes new recruits. What are your thoughts on the new players coming to Siena next season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different ballgame, right, than it was a few years ago as far as how you build a roster. So, you know, Coach McNamara comes in with the opportunity of not necessarily having to hit the recruiting trail and try and find these high school seniors and bring them in as freshmen, but instead it's going to the portal and with his connections, you know, with his clout, with his name recognition, he has the opportunity to bring in some players that you would think have the potential to be impact players right away for Siena in this conference. You think of a Peter Carey, somebody who played at Syracuse the last couple of seasons, 6'11", who could come in and really be a dominant force, potentially, we don't know, right? But in the MAC right away. So the Siena fan base has to be excited about not only Coach McNamara, but what they're already starting to see as far as the pieces he's putting into place for his roster his first year.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of excitement coming to campus the next few seasons. Thank you for your time today, Kelly. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. I am now at MVP Arena, here to ask people there what they think about Siena basketball's coaching change and what this will mean for the upcoming season. So, what was your experience watching your two Siena basketball games this year?
So, the first one I went to was the Albany-Siena game, the Albany Cup, and unfortunately we did lose that one. And I was like, you know what, we have our losses, they'll come with the season. We'll just bounce back and we'll be fine. And then the second one, I don't remember what the game was, but it was unfortunately another loss. Overall, I wish they had a better season, but I am excited to see McNamara come in and what he's able to do, who he's able to bring in. I think next season will be a lot better.
So did you go to any games this year?
I did. I went to a couple games. I went to the Albany Cup. I went to the season finale. I think I went to another one after that. So I only went to like 3 or 4 of them, but yeah.
What did you think of the season finale? Because Soden was telling me about the Albany Cup.
Yeah, no, it was close. So the season finale, who did they face?
Niagara.
Niagara, yeah. So they end up losing that game. It was a close game, and they almost had it. But, man, the whole season for Siena kind of wasn't what everyone expected. You know, the years past, they were so good. This season didn't come out so good. But the season finale, man, I wish they did better, but they're right there, and they needed to win. It would have been a good end to the season. And Niagara's kind of like a rival to them as well. So I wish they won, and the crowd was all right. It wasn't that bad, but I kind of wish it was a little better.
What do you think about Jerry McNamara being coach?
I think it's great. I think you got a guy who's got a big name, a lot of skill, a lot of talent. He's a proven winner. He's going to give you a chance to win in the transfer portal and recruiting. It's a great hire.
Do you think GMAC is going to boost attendance rates at MVP Arena?
Oh, absolutely. He brings a ton of energy. He's a person that cares about winning and personal development and bringing kids to a new level when he was a player and as a coach at Syracuse, and obviously that national championship pedigree that he has. You know, I was a senior at Utica College of Syracuse when he was a freshman and won that national championship, and this is a guy that doesn't quit. I think we've seen that already with his recruiting, really just hitting it hard, and I think the fans are going to respond to that. They're going to be energized, and you're going to see a big spike in attendance this coming fall.
I would serve this great program with professionalism and dignity.
49-year-old Terry Primm is now the 10th head coach for Siena women's basketball, and he's excited for what the future has in store.
First order of business is to maintain a smooth transition from the previous regime, who happens to be my mentor.
Taking over for the retiring Jim Jaber, Primm is already getting to work.
We will win MAC championships. We will have success in the NCAA tournament.
One of the things Terry Primm is hoping to accomplish as new head coach is to get the team to score more points.
He already has a talented recruit for the upcoming season. Dwaynesburg standout Allison O'Hanlon committed to join the Saints 2 years ago.
She has an incredible spirit. She's really competitive. Her teammates love her. She loves the game.
Terry's also been hard at work targeting the transfer portal.
Fit is more important, so we'll find the perfect fit for the Saints.
And he's already had experience as head coach. He filled in for Jim Jaber last year at an away game where the Saints beat Fairfield with just 5 players available. Will Primm's luck prevail? We'll find out next season. From the UHY Center, this is Sam on the Street.
Hello, it's me again. If you want more information about Jerry McNamara, look no further. Joe Lemry and Scott Noel of Saints March On, Siena's NIL collective, interviewed Jerry McNamara recently about his upcoming plans for the Saints. Here's a little sneak peek.
We built that arena downtown in the early 90s. And when Siena made the transition over there, all of a sudden, Siena could play Syracuse. Yeah. It wasn't like two different divisions of basketball. We were the same. And so the Syracuse fandom waned a little, and the Siena fandom.
You know, I'd say there hasn't been one recruit that we've taken in there that they haven't looked up and be like, wow, this is legit. This is real. You know, and I think when you talk about getting an opportunity to coach at a place like this, as a coach, you naturally go into things and say, all right, what do we have? What do we need? And this matched everything.
If you want more information, go subscribe to the Saints March On YouTube channel and follow them on all their socials. Now back to Sam and Sean.
So that is our show. This is the Siena basketball recap show for a rather dismal season, but hey, you know what? The sun's always got to shine somewhere, right, Sean?
Absolutely. Just got to look forward to this upcoming season and hope that it's a lot better than last season.
What do you think Jerry McNamara needs to do in order to improve this very proud roster coming out of Albany, New York?
Well, for starters, we have a very interesting coach right here. Jerry McNamara has been with the Syracuse University program since dating far as back to when he was a player in Syracuse University's basketball team. He's known the program for so long. He's been with a very prestigious program for so long. And what I'm hoping that he is able to do this season is get the most out of his players. He's been very involved in developing guards ever since he's been an assistant coach at Syracuse University. And this is a team that struggled a little bit with shooting last season, and I think he could get the most out of helping these players improve their shootings, improve their defense. We have a lot of different injuries last season. A lot of guys were looking to get back on track, and I think that this is a coach that can help them take the next step.
This clip is probably going to age just a little bit well over the coming months, but do you think any of the players in the portal are going to be staying?
There is a chance that we could see some players want to come back and play for a coach that has had a nice run of success at a very prestigious university that has played in many NCAA tournaments in its lifespan. So we're going to have to see. It's going to be tough to tell, but we're going to have to see.
This is one of the reasons why I love the offseason, because it just keeps you guessing and guessing and guessing until the fall rolls around. So this will be quite the interesting offseason, and I'm looking forward to being part of it because I will be continuing my studies at Siena as a graduate student.
Getting that master's.
Yep, I plan to get my master's in business and hope to make Sam on the Street professional. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll be looking forward to the 2024-2025 season for Siena basketball. Please, go get your tickets now. All right, thank you everybody for the show. I'm Sam Doherty. He's Sean Cunningham. Want to thank Mitch Young and Dan Loftus for helping produce this. Thank you, everyone.